Hi everybody, and welcome to the first in a series of what is going to be our product focus videos. So this one here is the screen just gives you a little idea. We're going to focus on embossing powders today. Let me just take that little screen off. I thought it would be a really nice idea because I have so many different products now, different mediums, different powders, stamps and dyes, etc. And I thought, let's just take the time, Phil, to do a little product focus video for each of the categories that I kind of manufacture products under. And I bet you didn't know that I already have 36 different embossing powders. So I thought this was a really good place to start. It's something that not everybody's done. It's really easy to do, and there are so many different fabulous effects that you can get from embossing powders. So I'm going to just quickly talk about each collection. So I've just mentioned that we've got 36 different embossing powders. So these are broken down into categories. So if you use the links that I've posted in the description that takes you to the embossing powders on my website, you will see that we have a category for superfine embossing powders, which is this set. We have a category for premium embossing powders, which are these 3 sets. And then we also have a category for twinkling embossing powders, which are the 12 in the middle. So all of these are amazing. I'm not going to lie, they're absolutely beautiful. The colours are fabulous. The things that you can do with them are gorgeous. And it's not just about doing sentiments, although I am going to show you a couple of different ways how to do that. So I'm quickly just going to run through each colour that you get. So in these super fine, the super fine ones are the ones that we probably would use the most. These are kind of your go-to set. And these include pure gold, pure silver, jet black, crystal clear, warm copper, and I think that's it. So 6. You can see that these are the ones that I use the most because I've got less of most of these. So I am gonna demo with these. So I'm gonna pop them to one side. So they are kind of your essentials, and super fine is exactly what they are. So if you've tried embossing powders in the past and you've struggled with them, you've got clumps or you've got lumpy bits, I would definitely recommend that you treat yourself to the super fine set. In there you've got a pure white, which is amazing for when you're doing Christmas projects. So if you have a stamp, for example, that's got snow or something like that, it looks fantastic. It's also got the clear, the crystal clear. Let me just find it. So don't get the two confused. So make sure you don't make the mistake that I've made a few times and pick the clear one up when you want white, and vice versa, because they look the same, but they are not the same. The crystal clear is the one that you can put on top of your perfect medium, your Versamark, your distress oxides, your VersaFine Clair inks. So this transforms all of your ink pads that you've got, your coloured ink pads, particularly the oxides and the VersaFine Clair, because you can heat emboss on top of those. And it transforms them into a glossy finish. It gives them a beautiful, really elegant glossy finish. The crystal clear is an absolute must-have, okay? And the white, obviously, for Christmas. So I'm going to pop these, I'm going to pop them all to the top as I show you them. And then I'm going to demonstrate and show you a couple of different ways to use them. I'm going to run through all the tools and equipment that you need, really, to get really good effects from embossing powders. And just give you a few hints and tips along the way. So this set here is my premium. So I'm just going to turn them all upside down. I'll just show you. So premium, these are super quality embossing powders. So these are still really fine, and they are perfect. Well, you can see there, look, they are perfect for your sentiments, for your backgrounds, and they're even better when you use them with grey board, MDF, that kind of thing. So this is the Brights collection, which includes, in fact, I'll show you one at a time instead of trying to hold them all up, and you know I'm going to drop them. So Mandarin Burst, absolutely stunning shade of orange. So Mandarin Burst, Lemon Zest, which is a gorgeous bright shade of yellow. You have the Fabulous Fuchsia, which is a well, you can see it's a very bright pink. Then you have the electric blue, which I love the electric blue. And well, you can tell because I've used quite a bit of that. These are all pots of 20ml, by the way. Orchid Kiss, which is a lovely purple shade. And then the last one in the Premium Brights collection is Totally Turquoise, which is a beautiful shade of turquoise. Yeah, so all of these pots are 20ml, so they are larger. They're larger than the average size of embossing powder, which means they last you a really long time. You only use a tiny, tiny bit of embossing powder every time you stamp or heat emboss a sentiment. So they'll last you for ages. We'll go to this set next, which is another set of the Premium. So just in case you're wondering what the difference between Premium and Super Fine is, Super Fine is literally like a powder. Yeah, it's almost like you can't feel the grains in your fingers if you rub it together. Premium is the next size up. It's only a 0.000 something of a size granule larger. Both of them are perfect for your sentiments, as you'll see when we start using them. Because let's face it, generally what we do is we use embossing powders for sentiments, but hopefully I'm going to show you a couple of different things you can do with it today as well. So in the next set of the Premium, you've got the Baked Aubergine, which is one of my all-time favourites. So if I put these next to each other, look, you can see that the Orchid is much brighter and the Baked Aubergine is a proper deep purple. You have the Olive Vine, and you all know that I'm fussy with greens, and this is absolutely stunning. So Olive Vine. We've then got Smoky Quartz, which is a really good one for more masculine makes. It's like a gorgeous shade of warm grey. Then you have the Blueberry Crush, which those of you that know me well will know I use this loads. In fact, it's one of the few that I've replaced. So this is a relatively new pot, and this is a fabulous shade of blue, Blueberry Crush. Then you have Summer Honey, which is another one of my favourites. So Summer Honey, you can see how much is in these pots, which is a gorgeous like deep yellow, like a mustard colour. And then you have Cracked Pepper. So Cracked Pepper is another one that's really good for more masculine. And obviously if you're using craft card, if you would like to use craft card in your card mate creations, this set is actually a really good one to go for. And then last in the Premium is this set here, which these were the latest ones that I released. I think it was last year. So these were what these are kind of Christmas colours, but I haven't called them Christmas Red and Christmas Green because you don't use red and green just for Christmas. So this is Berry Red, which is a proper red look. You've then got Mulled Wine, which is stunning. It's a gorgeous like shade of burgundy, like a maroon colour, really deep colour. Then you have New Leaf. So New Leaf is your traditional kind of Christmassy green. Then you have Great Oak, which is one of my favourites. Great Oak, it looks black in the pot, but it isn't. In fact, let me take the lid off and show you. Grey Oak is a beautiful shade of dark brown. Amazing colour. Very elegant. Then you have Pine Tree, which is a darker shade of green. I'll put these two together just so you can see them in real life, look. So Pine Tree is a darker shade of green. And then the last one in this collection. So when I released the Christmas, these set 3 if you like, I had lots of foliage for my Christmas release, and the Stone Hearth, which is this one, is a gorgeous minky colour, and it works really, really well with the Great Oak. They look gorgeous together. So they are your Superfine and the 2 sets of Premium. Is that right? No, the 2 sets of Premium. I'm not going to make you buy more than you need. So the ones that I've just shown you are kind of the ones I would tell you to get first if you're not comfortable or you're not confident with using embossing powders. They will give you really easy, beautiful results. And we'll move on now to the twinkling embossing powders. So twinkling embossing powders are traditionally a little bit more difficult to use with your sentiments. Oh, look at these colours though, because I'm just going to put a little bit on my finger so you can see that. Look how sparkly that is. So what happens with twinkling embossing powders is these contain a super fine glitter, and they are mixed with the crystal clear super fine embossing powder. So the super fine embossing powder is what sets the glitter, and I am going to use these and show you a couple of different ways how to use these. I wouldn't recommend the twinkling embossing powders for very fine sentiments. They're better with thicker lines really, but they are also fabulous for flower stamps. So this one here is called Soft Rose. This one here is Soft Cornflower. You can see I've used them quite a bit. So Soft Cornflower is like a bluebell shade. Soft Lavender, which is obviously a lavender tone. Then we have Soft Peridot, which is absolutely stunning. Soft Peridot. And then we've got Soft Azure, which I am going to use today, which is a lovely, slight bluey, broken china kind of colour. And then the last one is Soft Aqua, which is a lovely turquoise tone, a true turquoise. And then we'll move on to the last set now, and then I'll get on to some demos. But it was really important for me, if I'm going to do product focus videos, I want to tell you about the product. I want you to know what it is, how to use it, how to get the best results, and what they are. Looking at the website is fine, but you don't actually get to see them in real life, which is why I'm taking the time to show you. So the last set I'm showing you is the next 6 of the twinkling embossing powders, and this is the Cosmic range. So this range here is called the Soft range. So they're all Soft Aqua, etc. This one now is Cosmic. So we've got, these are your metallic colours. So you've got Cosmic Copper, which is absolutely stunning. Let me show you. Cosmic Copper. I'm running out of space on my desk. Cosmic Gold. You can see I've used the gold quite a lot. I tend not to use the embossing powders when I'm doing my Monday night lives, because it means unplugging my phone and everything, which is the camera that's up here. But I am obviously going to do that for you today. Cosmic Black is absolutely gorgeous. Let me show you this. It's got little flecks of silver glitter in it and black glitter. Look at that. How beautiful is that? And I'm going to give you I'm going to give you loads of tips while we're doing this video. Cosmic Silver, which is obviously a glittering silver. And then the last 2 are Cosmic Crystal. And Cosmic Crystal, the same as Crystal Clear. Cosmic Crystal is a clear embossing powder with iridescent glittering. So you can use this on top of your VersaFine Clairs, your Distress Oxides, and it will transform them into a glittering finish, a sparkling finish. Twinkling, we should say. And then the last one is Cosmic White. And this Cosmic White is a true white. So it's a white embossing powder, but it has the iridescent glitter in it, as you can see. So the people who make these embossing powders for me are Wow, who you will know Wow. But unlike Wow, I don't do little 10mm pots, I do 20mm pots, so they last you for ages. And I just found this board while I was getting ready for the video, which shows you the Cosmic range, the ones that I've just shown you last, the gold, the silver, the Cosmic Silver, on a die cut butterfly. And I am going to show you how to do this with a different butterfly, but still the same technique. And this Cosmic White look, oh, look at that Cosmic Black, oh, stunning. And this Cosmic White, just so I can show you, this is actually on top of black cardstock, can you see? So we've completely changed black cardstock and made it a twinkling white finish. It's just stunning. Right, so enough yakking. Let's get on to the equipment that you need. So my personal recommendation, and there are lots of different brands of embossing powder out there, and most of you that know me will know that when I branched off and took Sentimentally Yours independent, I could have got embossing powders from several different sources, but Wow are, in my opinion, the best at what they do. I know them really well. I know the people who own Wow really well, and they are very patient with me. We've developed the colours together, and they're just such good quality. So, essential kit. This is all you need for embossing powders. So, and as if by magic, I'm using a Wow heat gun today. I don't sell these, but I'm pretty sure you can get them from Julia, or so Julia Watts Crafts, or online direct from Wow. So a heat gun. So I've got 2 or 3 different heat guns. I've got some that I've had for years. This is my newest edition, which I've had for about 3 years now, maybe 4, and it's a 2-speed heat gun. So if you are new to this, I would definitely recommend you source yourself a heat gun that has 2 different speeds. And we'll get to the reasons why when I start demonstrating. When you're using the twinkling embossing powders, I favour the low speed setting, yeah? So it doesn't blow all the glitter everywhere before it's had a chance to set. So a heat gun, an anti-static bag, and I do my own anti-static bag, and it is fabulous. So this, I mean, you can do it with corn flour, you can do it with talcum powder, but these are the best thing. They're about a £5, and I've got loads of these, but I've been using them for years. I don't think I've ever had one that's run out of powder. So you definitely need an anti-static bag in your stash. And Versamark. So there are lots of different sticky, inky embossing inks, which is what this is. So Versamark is a clear, it's like a glycerin based ink, so it doesn't leave any colour on your cardstock. It just leaves the glycerin, or the kind of the adhesive part for you to put the embossing powders onto. So I would recommend you get 2 of these, because when we start doing the messier techniques later with the twinkling embossing powders, you don't want one, it's going to get some residue on there. I think these are both relatively clean, they are. So I will use whichever's the oldest, which is this one. So this is my oldest one, which I'm going to use for the glittery embossing powders. Don't use the same one that you use for your premium and your super fine embossing powders. Push the boat out and treat yourself to 2, because this one will get contaminated, this one won't. So just keep this. It doesn't matter when it gets contaminated. When you go on to the next project, it won't matter, but just keep it separate to the other one that we're going to keep clean. And that is all you need. A pokey tool for holding it in place, or a pair of tweezers, or I've got this fabulous little gadget that Helen got me from my classes in Sheffield, which is I want to call it a swagger stick, but it isn't. It's a little clip, look, that holds your card in place. So that's all you need. So that's basically a rundown of all 36 colours that we currently have. And in fairness, I will only introduce new colours when I see a gap. There are some more coming towards the end of this year that are different to these, but these are the ones that we're going to focus on today. So just so you know, I sell these in sets of 6. So they're all in sets that I've put together. So all the brights are in one set, the metallic, the cosmic twinkling ones are in one set, and so on and so forth. So you can buy them in a set with a set of 6 with a saving, or you can buy them individually, which is what a lot of people do. So the first thing I'm going to do is just show, we're just going to do a sentiment. And I've got some scraps of card. I'm not making a card today. I'm sure this is all about techniques and showing you how to do the basic things really. So let's just do a sentiment and get on with it. Get on with it, Phil. I've got my coffee. Oops. I've got my coffee, which is nearly gone already. So I've just got a little scrap of card here, and I'll just choose any of these that fit on here. So let's have happy anniversary to you. So these sentiments are, I've chosen these specifically for this demo. These are my statement sentiments occasional stamps. And it has 17 stamps, and this has got a really good cross section of occasions. So you've got wedding day, anniversary, retirement to both of you, which I am going to use later on. Congratulations, thank you so much, etc, etc. So we'll have the happy anniversary to you. And I chose these specifically because if you look at them again, you can see that we've got some that are a little bit thicker. The fonts are absolutely stunning. And some that are a bit thinner. We're going to go with happy anniversary first. Happy anniversary to you both, because it's got thinner lines on it. I am going to use my stamping platform for this. It doesn't matter whether you've got a stamping platform or not. I'm just doing it because it makes it easier for me whilst I'm demonstrating. So I'm going to pop my card in there. I'm going to pop that there. We're going to anti-static this now. So, a couple of little tips. We're now at the anti-static stage. So what you'll find, if I just bang the top here, look, you can see, look, there's loads and loads of powder in these anti-static bags. It won't affect the finished result. So rub it over. And you've got two options at this stage. So I've rubbed quite hard, so if I bring that in to show you, you cannot see any residue from the powders because I've rubbed quite hard and pushed it to the side if there was any. But you can flick it or you can blow it just to get the excess off. Oh, it's this way on. So let's put that in. I'm going to pop that out of the way so I don't use the wrong one. And we'll pop the sentiment in place now. And of course it's stuck to the lids of my embossing powders. So this is just a scrap. I'm not worried about it being straight or anything. It's just so that I can show you the techniques. So this is bog standard heat embossing 101. So sentiment in place. We've already done the anti-static, and now we're going to apply the ink, the Versamark ink. So this is I think this is a relatively new Versamark because it's quite juicy. I can see it showing, I can see it glistening on my stamp. So I should be able to just do this once instead of having to go back in again. So when you're heat embossing, when you've got a stamp that has fine lines like this one has, I'm just going to bring that in so you can see it. I want you to learn as much as I can teach you today. So see where we've got the really fine lines in this stamp. Don't get your stamping platform and really push down because you don't need to. So you're just giving it a light, like rubbing your fingers over lightly. And I can see that that has taken really well. I'm going to try and show you quickly before there you go, look. I don't want it to dry before I get a chance to put the powder on. So the first top tip, I'm using a sheet of paper for my catcher, anti-static, that sheet of paper in the middle where your crease is. Yeah, it will stop the powders sticking to it. And we're going to go, let's do the silver. So let's just do the silver. So shake them up just in case they've settled. It shouldn't make any difference. So next tip, you've got your notepads. So I've got my sentiment on the angle, look, and I'm letting the powder fall off it. So I've gone from left to right there. I'm now going to turn it around and I'm going to go from right to left, so covering both edges of the sentiment. And so the reason I do that is, as the powder's falling down in that direction, it's hitting all that Versamark, and just because you can, just to make sure you don't miss any areas, if you turn it over and do it from the other side, the odds are, if you've got any gaps in there, which I haven't, you can see that that's covered really nicely, but the odds are if you've got any gaps in there, it will catch it from both sides. That is something that I do instinctively now. And if you've seen any of my other videos on YouTube, you can see, look, there's no powder left in that. where I have used embossing powders, I always do that. It's kind of my routine, my embossing powder routine. I'm just going to clean this stamp. And get rid of that residual Versa mark. So this is just basic heat embossing, which is once you can do this, everything else that I'm about to show you, you'll be able to do with ease. So let's just pop that there, pop that out of the way. I'm going to unplug my phone, so forgive me if it just wobbles a second. And plug in my heat tool. So it doesn't matter how long I leave that like that. Once the powder is on, it won't dry out or anything. Once it's on, it's on. So top tip, I'm doing a super fine, this is one of the super fine embossing powders here. Have your heat tool warmed up before you start embossing it. Now for people that know me, you will know that I generally, when I've got a sentiment, I generally heat it from underneath. So just to explain that, in case you've never done this before, I find with sentiments particularly, if you heat from underneath, it takes longer for the heat to get to the powder, so you get a slower melt, which results in a really smooth finish. Okay, doesn't matter if you're doing background stamps or anything like that, because the texture is quite nice. But for sentiments, I like to do it from underneath. So I'm going to grab my tweezers. In fact, I can probably do this with my fingers. Let's see how far I get now. Use your stick, Phil. Use your stick that Helen bought you. So I'm just going to clip this. You don't need one of this. This is just making it easier for me. So when you're heat embossing from underneath, you need to be about 1.5 inches, 2 inches away. And don't waft. Just focus on one position, and then as it starts to melt, just follow the heat tool around, follow the stamp around until it's all melted. So I'm just going to let this warm up for a second. I'm going to try and get this in the shot so you can see what's happening. I am on the fast speed with this, by the way. So it's now already at the right heat. So I'm going to start in the bottom here, where the Y is for anniversary. I'm just angling it towards me so I can see it go. And you can see I'm not wafting the heat tool underneath. I'm just moving the heat tool around and following the embossing powder as it melts. So don't waft, don't go too close, because you don't want to scorch your card. And I'll bring this in and let you show you a little close-up once I've done. And then you will understand why I do this from underneath, because this looks now like molten metal. It's stunning. So let me just show you that. Oops, unclip it, Phil. So here we go, look. How absolutely beautiful is that? It takes your stamps to a whole new level. And it's all very well doing the foiling that everybody got into last year or the year before, but foiling doesn't give you that definition, and it doesn't give you that gorgeous metal effect. That's dry already, look. So that will not go anywhere. How beautiful is that? And you can see how smooth it is because I went from underneath. There we go. So that is heat embossing 101. Basic. That's basic heat embossing. What we're going to do now is we're going to do a two-tone effect. So shall I go brights or shall I go? Let's go brights. So let's do turquoise and fuchsia. So we're now taking what we've learned from this sentiment. We're now going to apply everything that I've just done with that and we're going to do a two-tone effect. Okay, so a two-tone effect, you can do two-tone, you can do 3, you can do 4, 5, 6, however many you want. Obviously it depends on how much space you've got on your on your project, on your stamp. So let's take a different sentiment this time, and I'm going to take another fine one. Let's have a look which one's fine. Let's do congratulations to you, because that's a lovely long stamp, and it'll give me a chance to show you how to do 2 different colours. It's exactly the same procedure, we're just doing it with 2 different colours this time. And this is a really cool technique. It looks fabulous. So anti-static, so I'm pressing on with the anti-static bag. Oops, there is no excess coming from this anti-static bag because I've pressed on hard enough. Put that in position. Remember, this is not a card, I'm just doing this to show you. We're focusing on embossing powders today. So we've got congratulations to you, and I'll just pop it in the centre. And we're going to, in fact, you know what, I might show off a little bit. I think we'll do the same colour at 2 ends and a different colour in the middle, because we can. Because we can. And these bright embossing powders, so all my premium embossing powders are translucent, which means on white card you will get a true colour, but where they overlap we will get a two-tone effect, and it looks stunning. So clean Versamark. It's a fine sentiment again. And remember, we've now moved away from super fine embossing powders, and we are now on premium. And I'm reminding you, because I don't want you to be fooled into thinking that the premium don't do super fine sentiments, because they do, just as well as the super fine. So same procedure again. Look, I'm not pressing too hard. I'm just rubbing my fingers over the stamp. I'm not going in like this, putting loads of pressure on. And let's just check that that's covered enough, and it is perfect. Just pop that out of the way. And we are now going to do two-tone, which looks amazing. And I'm just going to give you another little tip. What did I say? We're going to do turquoise on the ends and fuchsia in the middle. Yeah, that'll do. I forgot what I was just going to say. I was just going to give you another little tip, and I forgot what it was. Okay, so we're going down, down. Oops, I must have missed that bit. I must have missed a bit of that stamp. That will be fine. And then we're going to go the other direction again, but I've got to be careful that I don't knock it too far. Oh yeah, I was telling you that these are the translucent. So what you'll get with these is the true colour on white cardstock and pale cardstock, and you will get a completely different colour on black. So it will be almost transparent on black, but you will get tints, a bit like a stained glass window. You imagine a stained glass window on looking at it through black sunglasses. Yeah, it tones the colour down, but it still looks fabulous. And now we can go all over now, you see, with the fuchsia. So fuchsia, and I'm going to do fuchsia from the other side as well. In fact, I'm going to do it again, because you see where it overlaps here? I want to get a little bit more of an overlap. Marvellous. That's absolutely marvellous. You're going to love this. So you can see, looking at that even though this is a fine sentiment again, these powders are still fine and they will pick up all that detail. And I'm still using the same piece of paper. In fact, I've been using these sheets of paper for months. So I am going to heat this from underneath again. I'm just going to let the tool warm up. This technique is really good. So, you know, like if you want to use a coloured cardstock for your matting and layering, you could now choose whether to have turquoise or the fuchsia cardstock. It's just fabulous. So the heat tool is hot. I might need to just turn it towards me a little bit more, just so I can see when it's melted. Sorry everybody, I will show you in a second. Oh, that looks amazing. You know what, I've done this for years and it still looks amazing. The chemistry and the alchemy with the powders and the heat is just fabulous. It looks like we've got a turquoise and a fuchsia glass or enamel embellishment. That looks incredible. Oops, and that clip is really strong. Let me show you this. Oh, there you go, look. How absolutely stunning is that? And if I get close in, as close as I can without it going blurry, can you see at the bottom of the G, where we've got a little bit of overlap between the turquoise and the fuchsia, we've got purple tints. How stunning is that? So that's two different looks from two different ranges, and we've not even scratched the surface yet. So we're now going to move on to the twinkling, because I said I wanted to be done within an hour for this video, so you don't get bored listening to me. So we're going to move on to the twinkling embossing powders. I'm just going to put this stamp, clean this stamp and put it back where it belongs. The technique that I've just done with the duo tones, I've done it in the brights, obviously, the premium brights. You imagine it done in those Christmas colours. So, in fact, I should have done that. I wished I'd have done that now. So you imagine doing your Christmas sentiments with the berry red and the new leaf. It will look stunning. So it blows your mind. The things you can do just blow your mind. And we're still on sentiments. So we're now going to move away from premium for a second and away from superfine for a second. And we're going to move on to the twinkling ones. So which colour shall I do? Let's do... Oh, I like them all. Let's do cornflower. So I am going to show you something else with the soft aqua, which is why I'm looking for a different one. So we're going to do the soft cornflower. So the biggest tip, if you like sparkle on your cards, if you want your sentiments sparkly, my biggest tip for that would be to choose a sentiment stamp that's a little bit thicker. So I'm going to choose one from the Bold-tastic sentiments, and I'm going to apologise to you, I don't actually know if we've still got any of these left. If we have, they'll be on the link in the description. But this is a fabulous set that you can see is bolder sentiments. So these twinkling embossing powders will be perfect with this. And I'm going to take one of the this is one of the frames from the new framed sentiments die sets, and we'll take, I'll just see which word fits in. So anti-static, no excess, but if you do get any excess, just flick it off. So pop that in there. So I'm now gone from just using scraps of card, and we're moving on to our actual topper. So I'm brave enough to do it direct onto my topper. Let's just have Celebrate. Let's have Celebrate. And put that straight into the middle. Hopefully it's straight. We'll find out once I've stamped it. So because I am using a chunkier sentiment stamp, I am going to Versamark twice. So a little tip for you. So when you've got a more solid surface area, which is basically any of these, I would go in twice with the Versamark. So let's just do that once. I am using my clean pad because it doesn't matter with this, because I'm not going to emboss it twice, just once. And hopefully it hasn't moved at all. We'll soon find out. So let's just check that that is, I can see that quite clearly. I'm going to get my sheet of paper. I'm going to remember to anti-static it this time because I forgot last time. And we're going to put the soft cornflower embossing powder onto this. I am going to show you how to emboss die cuts in a second as well, and grey board. So same principle look, we're going from the top. So I've gone from the top and now I'm going to go from the bottom. Come on. How beautiful is that before I've even melted it? So that's enough. Remember that the twinkling embossing powders, they're never going to be as sharp as the solid colours, because it's a mixture of clear embossing powder and superfine graded glitter. In fact, the glitter is so fine, it's not even a granule, it's finer than that. So this time I'm going to do this from above because I want you to see how to do this. It's one of the questions I get asked a lot, where people have used the twinkling embossing powders and they've overheated, and if you overheat it, it will tarnish the glitter or tarnish the colour, and it will also flake off. So going from above, and I'm going to start at the bottom here where the exclamation mark is, and as soon as you see this go a little bit more sparkly, that's when you need to move on. So don't hover in one place for too long. We're doing it on the low heat, remember, low speed, sorry. So you can hear the difference. And by doing it on the low heat, it just gives you a little bit more control. So I'm starting on the exclamation mark. And I can see that just changing. I hope you can. The sentiment is just slightly darker when the embossing powder is melted, the clear embossing powder. And that looks absolutely fantastic. Biggest, oh sorry, I've just banged the camera. Biggest tip ever when you are using twinkling embossing powders is do not overheat them. Don't overcook them. Look at that. Is that not just absolutely stunning? And I'm going to quickly show you two more techniques with the twinkling embossing powders. So a scrap of card for this one, Phil. So just a scrap of card for this one. It says, and it's a big full sheet, so I'll just snip it down. So we're now going to take a Distress Oxide and change the look of it. Okay, we're going to change the look of a Distress Oxide. I'll do Celebrate again because it's the one that's on my mat. So we'll just do Celebrate again. It's just so I can show you the technique more than anything. So if you've collected Distress Oxides or Versifying Clear ink pads, you're going to be able to transform them with the Twinkling Embossing Powders. If you choose a similar colour family, which I've chosen here for the aqua colour, Broken China. I am going to have to go in twice because I never cleaned that stamp. So we're going to go with Broken China and the soft aqua. No, we're not. We're going with the soft azure. Look, there we go. So these are pretty similar in colour. However, I could have done this with peacock feathers, with anything that's got a bluey, greeny, turquoisey colour. Tumbled glass, for example. You can do it. So as long as it's a similar tone. And I know I'm going to have to go in twice because I didn't clean this stamp. If you're not confident with embossing... Oh, I might get away with ones. If you're not confident with Twinkling Embossing Powders, I'll go in again. It's got a bit of glitter on it. Where's that? On the L. It's got a little... Oh, there, I've got it. Yeah, if you're not confident with Twinkling Embossing Powders, I would absolutely tell you to do it this way first. I've got little flecks of glitter on that stamp. It's not a surprise in my craft room, is it? Yeah, so if you're not confident with Twinkling Embossing Powders, this is the way I would tell you to do it, because it'll build your confidence up. It'll get you used to the procedures and how to do it all. And you're almost guaranteed good results. So we've got the word celebrate there in the Broken China Distress Oxide. Remember, it could have been a Versifying Clear as well. Won't work with mementos because mementos are dye-based inks, but it does work with the Versifying Clear. And we're now going to go over this with the soft azure, which is this gorgeous turquoisey blue colour. Exactly the same as before. So from the top, from the bottom. Oh, look at that. So from the top, from the bottom, put that back where it belongs. I mean, look how much powder there is in these. My lovely duck egg blue rug is sparkling like nobody's business. And I'm going to do this from above just the same, and then I'm going to tell you why this is the best way to do it if you're not confident to go straight in like I did there. So low speed. Starting with the exclamation mark again. I've just got to angle it so that I can see it change. And here we go. Oh, that is just so beautiful. Take it from somebody who's done this for donkey's years. It's amazing to see this. And that is it. So the reason this is easier, I'm just going to bring that in to show you, look. Look how clear it is as well on the sentiment. So the reason this is easier is because if there are any gaps in the embossing powder, so if you missed a little bit, it won't matter because the colour from the ink underneath is going to do two things. It's going to intensify the colour of the powder. Can you see, look, it looks a little bit darker, a little bit stronger than it does in the pot. That's because of the ink underneath. And it also means if you've got any gaps in there, the ink will cover it up. You won't notice it. How beautiful is that? Aren't they just stunning? Right, okay, so we're going to move on from there now. So we've done basic heat embossing just with the silver. We've done two-tone with two of the bright colours. And you've got that gorgeous translucent glossy effect, which I think looks really classy. There you go. And then we've done Twinkling Embossing Powder direct onto just with Versamark, which looks beautiful. And then we've done twinkling embossing powder over the top of Distress Oxide. We're going to do two more things. We're now going to take some grey board, and I'm going to show you how you can change grey board. So I've got a die cut here, and we're going to do the die cut the same as I did those boards. I'm going to show you how to do that, because you have to do 2 coats to get that richness. We're going to do that with the twinkling, and we're going to change one of these gears here. I'll just do this one. Oops. So this is grey board. So not only can you use your embossing powders on cardstock, you can also use it on vellum, which I am going to try and show you if I don't run out of time. You know I'll end up being longer than an hour. What, we're on 50 minutes. Right. So I'm moving over to my, what will be my dirty Versamark. And let's do golden, let's do black and copper. Black and copper and a bit of silver. Black, copper and a bit of silver. Here we go. So I'm going to push that in. I need my piece of paper ready. So this is why you need two Versamarks, sorry. So I'm literally, I love grey board. I absolutely love grey board. You know I do. I've got loads and loads of different sheets on my website. So that's covered now with the Versamark. I'm going to give this a coat of black first. So this is the superfine black. And let me just tell, oh yeah, look. Let me just tell you, look, can you see? Ooh, you can't see it. But there's a little, oh, it's covered it up. If you've got any little lumps in there, in any of the embossing powders, don't worry about it. It's because they're absolutely packed. These pots, when you open them for the first time, be careful, because they're absolutely packed with embossing powder. So where you've got little clumps, it's only because it's been compressed. And that's what happens when you don't anti-static your sheet. And now you know why my rug's lovely and sparkly. And yes, I've just seen I've spilt a bit, but don't worry. So for the black, personally, I don't use the black embossing powder for sentiments. I would use a black ink, and I would use a clear. So I would use the VersaFine Onyx Black or the VersaFine Clair Nocturne, and use the clear embossing powder because it's a bit easier. So I'm just going to heat this from above. I'm going to just do this in the air. So this is the first coat. Hopefully you can see this. So we've now transformed a bare grey board cog to a fabulous glossy black cog in 2 easy steps. But we're not going to stop there. No, we're not going to stop there. We're now going to move on to, just get rid of the powder that's underneath, to add in a couple of the other colours. So let's do the silver first. So now I am going to use my finger for this. You can do it with the perfect medium daubers, because these have got a perfect medium in them. In fact, I might do that. And I'm going to apologise to you if we haven't got any of these on the website, because every time we get them, they just fly. So just make sure that's coming out. It is. So I'm just going to do little bits of this with silver, a little bit of silver. So I'm going over where I've been already, and I still forgot to anti-static it. remember as well, I just need to blow that off. Remember as well, I'm just blowing it off. I can't blow it on my desk. Oh, I've took too much off now. Yeah, remember as well, you don't need to anti-static in between. This is all about the layers. So I'm going to put a little bit of silver on this. It looks amazing. And let's face it, we all struggle for cards and techniques to do on men's cards and more masculine cards. This is a really good one to do. Obviously, you would be doing more in one go. You wouldn't just be doing the odd one, but this is just so I can show you the technique. That is so gorgeous. that's just gorgeous before I even add any bits of gold, look. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And we're just going to add a little bit of gold to this now. So I don't want to cover the black. I haven't anti-staticked it. In fact, do you know what? I'm going to do it with my finger. I've got more control with my finger. So I'm going to stick my finger in the Versify. And we're just going to add little bits of gold to this. I haven't anti-staticked it, so I'll probably need to blow it off. This is so easy to do, everybody. And what I'm showing you here on grey board, you can absolutely do this on cardstock. I do want to try and get in vellum before I've done. Yeah, I should have blown some of the... I should have anti-static that. Can you see? Look, the gold's just... I'm just going to blow it off. Yeah, that's fab. So now we've got a almost metallic, enamel looking cog. And the difference between using my paints and using embossing powders for this is the amount of texture you can get from the embossing powders. So if I wanted to, I could, for example, take the doodle dots, the little doodle dots, tiny dot stamp, and when the embossing powder is still warm, I could push that in. I'm not going to do that today, but I'm telling you that you could. There will probably be an embossing powders part 2 video at some point, because we've not even touched on embossing folders and brayers and things. So now on to the gold. I'm going to put a little bit more black on that. So I'm just going to show you a trick. Just going to show you a trick. Get my tool. So whilst it's still warm, I'm just going to warm it up a bit. I'm going to tip a little bit more black on. So just getting it melted again. I'm just going to tap a little bit. I just want a little bit more black on. Oops. I think that will do it. Let's just move that out of the way. That's better. So those little crumbs of black have melted into the silver and the gold. I'm having far too much fun now. I'm going to stop because I don't want to show you the other things as well. I'm having far too much fun with the grey board and the embossing powders. And just remember, you can do that with every one of my grey board shapes, and you can do it with any one of my embossing powders. So if you did this with the premium ones, Remember, you would need to emboss it with white first. So write that down if you're taking notes. If you wanted to use any of the premium colours, you would need to emboss it first with the pure white to give you a white base, or gesso it, or just prime it with gesso, because they are translucent embossing powders. Let me just show you that now. Look at that. How absolutely fabulous is that? From that bare grey board to that. Right, so one more thing I'm going to show you, and I want to show you this on vellum. There's two more things I'm going to show you. So I always forget to use this. So there is a link in the description to our vellum, and our vellum is 140 GSM, which if you're in America or Canada is about 45-50 pounds. It's a heavyweight, sturdy vellum, and it's absolutely fabulous for what I'm going to show you next. So we're going to take my flower stamps. I should have cleaned that first. And we're going to heat emboss with the twinkling embossing powders and my flower stamps. So let's just put that Celebrate back on. So these stamps are some that I had ages and ages and ages ago, and you do get the companion die set to go with them. Okay, there are 4 different sets of my flower dies and stamps. They were the first ones that I released, so I don't know how much we've got, but if you can get them, they're well worth investing in, so that you've got them to intermix with all my other flower dies. I'm not going to die cut these, but I'm going to show you how fabulous these look. So if you look at how fine these stamps are, so I've told you to steer away from the twinkling embossing powders if you're using them with sentiments, unless it's a thicker sentiment like these. However, if you're doing something that's fine like this, it looks stunning. It's just words you need to steer away from. So let's just do a couple of these. I'm not going to do them all, I just want you to see how gorgeous they look. So let's pick these up. And I'm using my clean Versamark. And I'm being really heavy with the Versamark on these. There is a lot of detail in these stamps and die sets. So the stamps have got all the detail in, and the dies are companion dies which will cut them out for you. And I would always recommend stamping and embossing first before you cut them out with the dies. It's a personal preference, it's entirely up to you if you struggle with it. But can you see, look, the lovely serrated edge on this one that's still got ink stains on it? And we're going to do this on vellum, so I can show you how gorgeous it looks on vellum, but B, how easy it is to do it on vellum, and how the things to watch for are overheating. So don't waste your money on heat resistant vellum, because you don't need to. You can do it with my vellum. You just need to be mindful. What colour shall we do? Let's do the pink. Let's do that lovely soft rose. You just need to be mindful when you're heat embossing vellum. So from the top again, look. I mean, that is pretty already. And then from the other side, just to make sure we've cut all the bits. Oh, you can just see how beautiful that's going to be. And I've just got a little hair falling there, I saw it. Get out. So let's pop the lid back on that. And let's heat this from above. So slightly different with vellum. I'm not going to hold it in position for too long. I'm going to do a bit and move away, do a bit and move away. I'm still going to do it on the low speed because it's a twinkling embossing powder. Just let it warm up. I'm just over an hour now. Sorry everybody, I said an hour, but so I'm going to do this petal here and move away. Do this petal and move away. The powder melts much quicker on vellum than it does on cardstock because there's nothing to absorb the excess heat. So as long as you don't hover in one place for too long, and just give it a second, just move away and then go back in. That's it. That is already heat set. Try and get a nice angle feel. Let me put it under some white card so you can see it. There, that's better. How beautiful are these flowers? And if I get really close, there you go, look. We've still got the detail from the stamp, but we've got that gorgeous, lovely, soft rose twinkling embossing powder. And then you would just need to die cut that. And I did have some already done somewhere in my room that I did ages ago, but I can't seem to find them. So that's another technique for you. We're going to do one last thing because we've all got dies, we've all got lots of die cuts and what have you. So I want to show you how easy it is to transform something like this, which is beautiful as it is, but I want to show you how to transform that with the twinkling embossing powders. And I'm going to do, let's do the gold. So we'll do cosmic gold. So I'm going back to my dirty one, my dirty Versamark, and I am pushing quite heavily into it. And this will need 2 coats. It will definitely need 2 coats to get the depth of colour. I just want to show you how to do this because it's a really fabulous technique to use with all your die cuts. So I'll just put that to one side. I'll leave that actually and see if I can manage to do it without blowing it everywhere. No, I'm not. I know better. I know better. So put that to one side. I've just done it too many times before where I've knocked the pot over. So I'm going from above again, and because we're on cardstock, I don't need to move away. Low speed, so the low speed setting. And hopefully you can see that change. I can't really get it much closer, but I can see the gold start to twinkle a little bit more and get a little bit richer once the embossing powder is melted. And that looks actually really quite fabulous on its own. But that's with 1 coat. So let me bring that in to show you. That is with 1 coat. We are going to do a 2nd coat, which is why you need a dirty second Versamark, because when I push this back in here now, it will pick up some of that gold. Only a bit, but you don't want to contaminate your I mean, look, that's literally all it's picked up, just them few flakes there. The rest is on my fingers. So 2nd coat, I could have gone in with a different colour for this, but I'm doing it gold on gold so you get to see how rich it is once you've done two layers. Well, you can actually see it already. So we are nearly done, so a couple of minutes and then I'm going to do a quick recap and tell you which things I think you need to get first. It's definitely worth treating yourself to the vellum if we've got any. There's a link in the description. I honestly didn't think we'd had any stock for months, so apparently we have, because I checked with Karen. So pop that one there. I'm going to pick that up in the corner again, which means I might lose that corner, but it'll be fine. So low heat, low speed rather, not low heat. Starting in this corner. That looks incredible. That looks stunning. Wow. Wow. Even after all these years, I love seeing that. And you will definitely be able to see the difference. Look at that now. That's just absolutely stunning. Isn't that gorgeous? So you've just let it dry and then just shape it like you would do normally. It will just give it a second to cool down, let it cool naturally, and then job done. So that's basically heat embossing with embossing powders part 1. I will do a part 2 later on in the year where I'll show you how to use your brayer with it, how to use it with other mediums. I'm just going to clean my mat, because you can mix embossing powders with other things. I'm not going to tell you what until the video, so you'll have to hang fire. But it's definitely worth investing in a set. Kitchen roll, where are you? There you are. So I'll just do a quick recap for you. All the sets, as I said, are on the website. Use the link in the description of the video. And you will see we have the superfine, we have the premium, and we have the twinkling. So my top tip would be to treat yourself to, well, whichever you can go for. Remember, you can buy them individually or you can buy them in sets of 6. Sets of 6 give you the discount. I love the premium ones because you've got all the colour choices then. And then once you've got all the colours with the premiums, you can mix them together as well. So superfine are perfect for your sentiments, as we know. The premium are perfect for your sentiments, as we know. It's just whatever colour you can go for. And I know, I wish that I got a Christmas sentiment, because had we have done this with a lovely happy Christmas stamp with the red and green, it would have looked phenomenal. Phenomenal. So there you are, look. 12, 24, 36 to choose from. And I don't know how to tell you to choose which ones to go for first, but my instinct as somebody who's doing it for the first time would be to go for either a premium set, which are the coloured ones, or the super fine, okay, and then have a go with the twinkling ones. But honestly, it's the easiest thing in the world. I'll quickly recap what we've done. So that was the first one we did, which was just basic heat embossing with the silver, the pure silver, which looks stunning, and you will get that effect from all of these on this side. Then we did the two-tone. So we did the two-tone with the premium embossing powders, which was the turquoise and the fuchsia. And you can do two-tone with all of these on this side. So all the super fines and all the premiums. I wouldn't do two-tone really for a sentiment with the sparkling ones. Then we did the twinkling embossing powders, which was the soft cornflower. So that's direct with Versamark and the cornflower. Then we did the broken china distress oxide with the soft azure embossing powder over the top. That's my top tip. If you've got distress oxides and you want to make them sparkly, just get the twinkling ones because you can use them all with them. Then we did the vellum, and I love embossing powders on vellum. It looks so classy. Yeah, so that's with the flowers on vellum. And then the last thing we did was 2 coats on a die cut with the twinkling cosmic gold. So I hope you've enjoyed that. It's something a little bit different. I did say it's the first in a series of the product focus videos that I'm going to do. So the next video will focus on a different range of products from my brand. So from Sentimentally Yours, it will I'm going to focus on a different thing every time we do a new video. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you found it useful. Please do, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. So you will get the subscribe button down here somewhere. So hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell, and then you will get a notification every time I upload a new video. And don't forget, we are live every Monday evening as well at 7 PM UK time. If you haven't, please do follow my Sentimentally Yours Facebook page, and also my Phill Crafty Martin page. And if you are a Twitter user, you will find me there as well, Phill M Martin. Remember, it's 2 L's. Also on the Instagram, same again, Phill M Martin. And TikTok, which I've just started doing, is Phill M Martin. Surprise, surprise, Phill M Martin again. So everything that I've used today will be available on the website, my website, assuming it's in stock, which is honeypotcrafts.co.uk. And I would very much appreciate you keeping in touch with us. We've also got our lovely little Facebook group. You can't get rid of me, can you? So if you haven't yet, you can ask to join our Facebook group, which is called Crafting with Phill Martin and Sentimentally Yours. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and it's given you a little introduction to the 36 colours of embossing powders that we've currently got, giving you a couple of ideas of how you can use them in your crafting with sentiments, with grey board, which I've lost. Where did I put that? Grey board cog. Oh, it's here. So with the grey board cog, remember you can do that with the twinkling embossing powders as well. So embellishments, die cuts, vellum, cardstock, sentiments, two-tone. The list is just endless. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy that. Get your embossing powders out and have fun with them. Bye.